Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are live in the Messenger Studios, and it's a great day to be alive. I'll tell you what, we had a great show earlier today. Had on the called not canceled group talking about their faith in Christ, and today we've got some other people who are very inspirational. They are from the Meade County Fire Department. Wave, everybody, say hello.
Hello.
They are here to tell us all about what's going on with the Meade County Fire Department and their involvement. These are volunteers. They give up their time every day to do the things that keep our county safe from a fire perspective. So I'm extremely excited to get into this conversation with you guys today because there is so much to cover when we talk about what's happening in the fire industry, the proofs, the safety features that are out there, the alert systems that are out there, and more importantly, the people who are doing all the work in the industry. So let me welcome, I've got, it's Chris Crawford to my left, who is the fire chief for the Meade County Fire Department. We've got Joey and Amanda Bryant here in studio. Yes, they're a married couple doing the volunteer thing all the time. And then on our phone, we've also got Charlie Nazer. It's spelled with an S. I got it wrong, but it's okay. Nazer. So welcome, you guys. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Charlie, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, great. So I'll get us started off with Chief, and then I know you, Chief. You're going to pass this on to all the hardworking crew that's out there. So, Chief, tell us, how long have you been doing this for the county?
I started in 1984.
Okay.
And I originally started at Battletown Fire Department. I spent 20 years down there, and then the rest of the time has been up here.
Okay. And then, and so if you were to count and clock your volunteer hours, how many hours would you have invested in this besides your personal life?
I couldn't even begin to tell you because it's busy. We stay busy.
I bet it is. Do you know how many fire calls you've had in your entire life? Legitimate fire calls?
Thousands.
Wow. Yeah. That's crazy because there's only like 30,000 homes, I think.
Right.
In Meade County. So Joey and Amanda, what got you guys into this? I mean, you guys are like the dynamic duo that got into this.
I don't know about that, but
no.
My father passed away in 19, and I just was looking. I was lost.
Sure.
I needed something to do.
Mm-hmm.
I live across the street from Charlie's father,
okay,
who's our assistant chief.
Mm-hmm.
Went over, talked to him one day, and said, "Hey, I'm interested. Not sure if I can do it or not, but tell me what I can and can't do." He's like, he told me that was up to me.
Right.
Said there's a job for everybody.
Okay.
So I filled out some paperwork, and it's been
and you've been going ever since.
Pretty awesome.
So how many years you got?
5.
Okay. Wow. And how long does it take to actually get the training to be a certified firefighter? That's got to take a while. It doesn't happen overnight.
To get your basic one, it's 115 hours,
okay,
which just dropped the beginning of this year.
Yes.
Right. It was 300.
Okay. Is there a significant reason why it dropped?
300.
That is set by the state. The state,
okay,
what they look at is NFPA standards.
Okay.
And some things we were training on were not so much in line with the National Fire Protection Association standards, and the state wanted to come more in line with that.
Okay, so NFPA, National Fire Protection Association.
Yes.
So, and then Charlie, tell us a little bit about your background. I mean, you obviously recruited Joey and Amanda, or you recruited Joey, and then he brought Amanda in. How did that work out?
So yeah, I've grown up in it. My father was fire chief when I first started. He's been fire chief there off and on since '92. Like Joey said, he's currently an assistant chief. So I started when I turned 14 as a junior firefighter, and have been there. It'll be 21 years in November.
Wow.
So I've grown up in it. This is about the only job I've ever wanted to do, and it's almost like it was destiny. My first word was firefighter. Not mom, not dad. My first word was firefighter.
Yeah. Do you guys ever think that if we grow any larger as a community, that there'd have to be more of a full-time staff in firefighting for the county, or do you see that just remaining a volunteer process as we grow over the next 10, 15 years?
As we get more and more busy, we may have to move that way. That's going to be a hard thing for us to do. you're talking about a lot of money.
Yeah.
People don't realize how much our volunteers. Now, we talk about our volunteers. People say, well, they're just volunteer firefighters, but they are. Just because you're volunteer, when you volunteer, you become a professional with us.
Yeah.
We put you through the same training that any paid firefighter gets, and you will have the same qualifications if you have a full-time job as a firefighter. So our volunteers are saving our taxpayers
Millions. It's millions, yeah.
Millions
Yep.
at this point.
How many would you say are volunteer firefighters in the county? Because I know you got some other areas like the Akron Fire Department and some other places, but that all plays into the Meade County.
Yeah, you talking about now? The whole county is 100% volunteer.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. So if we were to count the firefighters, I mean, y'all go to these events together to train together and do.
Absolutely.
So what do you think that we have in volunteer participation right now?
We probably have 150 between all the fire departments. And then those numbers are down.
Yeah.
Now, used to, it would be no problem for this department, Meade County Fire District, to run 50 to 60 volunteers.
Yeah.
We don't have that many anymore. We're down to 35 or less.
Wow.
Some of the other departments, and I can speak with Battletown because I was there and I was fire chief at Battletown for a number of years. There was no problem having 24, 25, and I think they're down a lot less than that now. They're about half of that. So volunteering it's just not what it used to be because people are busy and they're trying to earn careers and having to work 2 jobs and things of that nature.
No, and the economy is not helping with that.
That's
right
absolutely
now. So,
right.
I mean, and I'm feeling it at the grocery store
Right.
like I've never felt it
Right.
before either. Charlie, how do you feel? I mean, you recruited obviously Joey. So how do you feel like it when you're talking to people that you think might be interested? Because obviously you've been doing this since you're 14. So walk me through those conversations as of late with some of our youthful citizens. How does that play out?
Man, I basically start off with, we're a big family there. We're doing stuff outside of just the fire service, and that brings in a lot of families. Yeah, we're up there making runs, we're training, we're doing stuff at the firehouse, but just because of how much we're up there, we do become a family, and that's a big drawer for for new people. Plus, like Chief said, we provide all the same training and education and everything that we were a career firefighter. So a lot of people use the volunteer side of things as kind of a foot in the door if they're interested in going career. That's kind of how I started. Yeah, I'm career at Shepherdsville, and I was part-time at Oklahoma until this past April. So I use the volunteer side of things to kind of get my foot in the door and get the initial training. And
Yeah. So, you struck a note there that stuck out to me, but it is a family, and there's a lot of folks that grow up in our county that don't have the structure of family, and so they don't understand that. So it's easy to adapt in that culture, in my opinion. Coming up as a Boy Scout, young Boy Scout, a lot of fire departments do explorers or back in the day, and obviously now it's not Boy Scouts; it's changing after the first year, but that's a different conversation altogether. But it's that family atmosphere or that structure of family that tends to bring in youthful members, in my opinion, I think, because it's, their moms are working, if it's a single mom situation, or it's the shared parenthood between a father and a mother, and then they see this group activity, well, I'm busy, I'm volunteering,
Yes.
And it's just kind of an outlet for maybe some things that go on. It's not always the case, but it is a strong place to be, especially if you want to have a good path after high school and into that nature. I believe that firmly. I've always thought that of not just military organizations, but firefighter, law enforcement, everything. And for good reason. There's a lot of reasons to belong to organizations like that because it is family. You see Tunnels to Towers and all those other programs that believe in the same thing and support firefighters. But it's not cheap. So could you tell me a little bit about how we fund the fire department and how that happens? I'll let Joey tackle that a little bit.
We have, when you pay your property taxes, we get a small portion of that, and your vehicle taxes. The third one, I'm not 100% sure what.
Inventory taxes.
Inventory taxes.
Okay.
If you look at your at your car registration tax bill, you'll see school, blah, 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 fire department at the bottom. That's how we get our money.
Yeah. So well, everybody's afraid of raising taxes.
And we're the smallest one pretty much on there. So
Yeah, no, I get it. And it doesn't cost well, I'm sorry, that's the wrong phrase. It costs an enormous amount of money for an engine or the vehicles, plus the maintenance that has to go into them to maintain.
Yes.
So I would assume that with maintenance comes a lot of volunteer hours, because you don't volunteer because there's a fire. You also volunteer to maintain the equipment, the facilities,
Absolutely.
and all that
Yes.
other stuff. So there's a lot that goes into that. Could you talk a little bit about that, Amanda, and what draws you in when you get into all that stuff?
I have no idea about maintenance.
Well, I mean, as far as being in the firehouse, there's a lot of work that has to be done that is not related to a fire.
you're there
No.
truck checks.
We do the truck checks on everything, make sure air bottles are full.
Yeah.
Having water on there, just making sure all the tools are clean, all, you know, and where they're supposed to be at, they're all working, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we also have to clean the fire station. Somebody's got to clean
Yeah.
bathrooms.
Dust
and
still
stuff like
collects
that.
in fire
Yeah.
stations because they're not manned
Yeah.
daily, or are they manned all day long? Are the fire stations
No,
manned?
not at this time.
So you guys are always on call, no matter what.
Right.
Crash on the highway, all that stuff. So.
Absolutely.
Yep. In fact,
Doesn't
Joey,
matter
I
what
ran into you the other day. I pulled up. I said, but I live down this road. And you said, go up the Ridge Road, go back and go up the Ridge Road and come back, because I was all the way up by Otter Creek. And you guys had that fire. You remember me now?
Yeah, we had a motor vehicle
And I was like,
accident
well,
down there.
how do I get down there? And you can't get angry because you can't help that there's an accident. You know what I mean? Well, how am I supposed to do this? That's the thing that I love about you guys, is that it doesn't matter who's running traffic or who's running the accident scene, which is horrific in some cases. And a lot of people don't talk about that. There's also a trauma that comes with this job besides the fact of doing a good deed and the volunteerism, but a fire can be a very traumatic thing for a family, for the firefighter, for lots of reasons, whether it's a pet, a human life, or other things. And then there's more to just fighting the fire, because there's also potential, what would you call it, wrongful fires or arson,
Yes.
and things of that nature, that you guys have to preserve the scene.
Yes.
And that goes into training, and that's more than just a level 1 go knock down a wall.
Absolutely.
So talk to me a little bit about that, and I'm sure, Charlie, you probably got some input on that too, given that you're do this on a daily basis. But talk to me a little bit about that from the group.
Go ahead, Charlie.
As far as preservation of an arson scene or something like that.
Or any fire. Don't y'all have to almost preserve every scene just to make sure you can make the determination what caused the fire and all that stuff? So
Yeah, so any fire that comes out, any house fire, commercial fire, anything like that, has to be investigated either by the chief or his designee. There's a lot that goes into fire investigation, and tracking down the source, and especially if you get in and you're starting to see some things. And we've all had training in what to kind of look out for that are red flags of, hey, this is a little bit suspicious, we should probably let somebody know about it. Especially when that comes, excuse me, especially when that time comes, then we get the state arson investigators in, and Kentucky State Police and stuff like that. If we think it's, something's a little fishy.
yeah, I would. It's an assumption. Maybe y'all can clarify, but I would assume that we probably don't have a lot of those in structural fires, arson in Meade County. Have you seen a lot of those types of investigations in the last 5 years?
Last 5 years, in total, I've worked a lot in this county, and this county is actually pretty good. When you prosecute somebody for arson and you find them guilty, they will throw the book at them.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's good. Yeah, 'cause
yeah.
we want to send a message out
Right.
that people be held accountable.
Right.
If only the rest of our nation would do that.
That's
for
right.
holding laws
That's
accountable.
right.
But I'm not speaking for the nation. We're a community paper. So, no, I agree. How do you, besides all of the taxes and all of the time, how do you raise money for, and do you guys have any events that are coming up that help support the Meade County Fire Department?
That's the only thing we do. And then we do Crusade every year, but that goes to the Crusade for Children. We don't.
I heard y'all did a really good job with Crusade for Children this
Right.
year. A lot of money came out
Right.
of Meade County.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, as far as money coming into the department, it's mostly tax-based at this point. But you will see us at events all the time, especially now that the summer. I think there's an event setting up Saturday at the
Farmers market.
Market. We'll be set up at the Big Bang over Brandenburg thing.
You got a few of them. Doe Valley's doing theirs.
Right,
I'm sure we'll have
we'll
fire
be there for
service
Saturday.
there. Yep.
Absolutely, yes.
Yep. Well, and that's one thing I'm thankful for is that we do have communities that put these fireworks displays on, but I'm sure that you'll also be very busy because of the people that do them. Is it legal to do fireworks in your home in Meade County?
Yes. Now, our recommendation would be go to a professional show because
Okay.
they're trained.
Yeah.
They have a license.
You're not going to blow your finger off.
Right, absolutely, because I have worked in this county where a young man blew his finger off, and I had to go do the investigation on that. And he said, "Are you going to cite me for?" This was back before the more powerful fireworks were legal in Kentucky. He said, "Are you
Yeah.
going to cite me for having that?" And I said, "I think you've paid enough already."
Yeah.
So, but you know, the safest way is to go watch professionals set them off. But we know people are going to do it at home. Just
Yeah.
be careful. Have some water with you. Have that garden hose. Have that bucket of water, and be ready.
You know, we were talking about that earlier because it was the start of the season. It was really wet. We had so much rain. I got a pile of brush that I pruned before in the fall when everything died off. And I was like, okay, well, now's best time to burn it if I'm going to burn it. What I should have done is just put it in the trailer, and taken it up to the burn pile.
Right.
With the county has a burn pile, everybody, and it's safe. It's managed all day long.
Yes.
But I started that fire, and you got to look. Just because you think it's wet, you might have that thick area of grass where you've got the brown and the green all mixed together, and it's like a dog with a lot of hair. They've got an undercoat, and if that undercoat is dry, I promise you that green grass is going to go bye-bye real fast.
Right.
And but I would have never done that without a fire hose and a fire extinguisher ready, and my wife was out there helping me. She had a rake, and that was, to keep the fire moving toward the center and all that stuff. And it got away from us a little bit on the one side, and, as we're circling around the side, because the smoke's real intense. When a fire goes up, it can get super intense. I know y'all know this, but it's for the people out there.
Right.
And you can't get close to the fire when it's like that. And you're not going to be able to start the spread as it comes out unless you have the stuff you need for safety.
Yes.
Your fire hose and everything else. Otherwise, you're going to be making a call to the fire department, and you probably could get fined, especially if there's a fire ordinance out or like the judge executive says, no burn between certain times. If you have to call the fire department, first of all, call them. Take the lump for doing what you shouldn't have done, and they'll cut your token or your fire chit if you were a Boy Scout, and you're going to lose a corner off of it. But how many grass fires and fires do you think you experience in the summertime in Meade County for people that would do that but don't take safety precautions?
Summertime is not as bad as spring and fall. That's when we stay busy with brush fires, grass fires, things of that nature.
Yeah. So
People trying to clean up.
Just
and get
hold
ready.
on to myself.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's a lot of, I thought I could take care of it, but it just got out of hand, and it got into this drier grass, and it spread faster than I thought it would.
Especially if the wind's blowing.
Yes.
Definitely.
And it's not a good time if the wind's blowing, and the winds do pick up. You'd be surprised. If it can lift a kite, it can blow a fire really fast.
Right.
So, house fires in general, I know there's been several in Meade County. I remember there was the one up on the corner of, 981 and 31W. That one was a recent one. There was, I don't know if it was a controlled burn or something, but I saw black smoke. If I see a black smoke just billowing up in the air, is that an indication that I probably are looking at a house fire from far away, or is
It's a
that
good
somebody burning tires?
It's both.
Okay.
I mean, it could be a good working structure fire that is vented, or it could be that, like I said, somebody's got that big tire fire and they decided to burn it.
Well, I was worried because it was coming over from the direction of not Ski Farm, but Field of Screams, and I was thinking, I hope their maize didn't catch on fire.
Right,
You know what I mean? But you don't know, and I figure if I don't hear sirens, then somebody's either burning something, or it was a controlled burn, something. I don't know. You never know. But if I was to see something, I want to call somebody. Do I call 911 or do I call straight to the fire department?
No, absolutely call 911. Because if you see it and you don't know if it's a controlled burn, what we ask everybody to do is, if they're going to have a controlled burn, to call 911 and let our dispatch center know, hey, I live at such and such address and I'm going to have a controlled burn. today between these hours. That way, if somebody's driving down the road and their cell phone, they look over and they say, "Oh my gosh!"
Then
And they call-
911 isn't freaking out.
Right.
Yeah.
They go, "Oh no, wait, we got this."
Yeah.
So
Okay, that's smart.
Yes.
I didn't could have done that.
Yes.
I'm learning a lesson here.
Right.
I'm telling on myself on the air, everybody, but that's okay. I'd rather tell on myself and be the example so you can do the same. As far as website, social media, talk to me about that. Where do I go to find out what's going on? And do you guys post fires and post results or things that, do y'all have a public announcement for when a fire happens and why it got started, just to emphasize the safety of things, especially when it's something as simple as somebody knocked over a candle in their sleep or
We do have a
smoking.
Facebook page. It's Meade County Fire District. As far as information, we don't post a lot of information about the scene. We'll say that our firefighters respond to a structure fire at this street. We won't say at 915 whatever road. We'll say on this road. We won't announce any kind of details.
Yeah.
Just keep the family from getting any kind of
drama. Yeah,
drama.
I get that. Enough of that's been thrown around.
anything like a fire, motor vehicle accident, stuff like that. We kind of limit what
Yeah,
we say.
I know I got blasted for highlighting that somebody was in an accident. I didn't say anybody about who, but I said where it was and that traffic might be slowed down or something to watch out. We did that on social media, and I got blasted because the vehicles were rolled over. And they're like, "Well, that's a shame. What if somebody knows who that is?" Well, I would want to know if that was a family. I'm going. I'm
Right.
going. I want to. If that's their last moments, I want to be there. If
Right.
they'll let me up there, But it's very delicate in a community about information and what information you share. That's why we try to keep it down the middle now as a community paper. But
Right.
It's doing things like this, though, to also educate the community on what's important. You guys also do a lot of activities in the school when the school's back up, and you help educate fire and fire safety. How often do y'all do that in the school year, and what age groups do you spend talking to doing that?
Most of our public education has been at like the library or a daycare. Unfortunately, the schools haven't reached out to us much in the
Really?
past few years.
COVID kind of changed a few
Yeah,
things.
Okay.
we would love to go to the schools
Okay.
and do some fire education.
Let me see if I can get help with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Traditionally, one of the very first weeks in October is Fire Safety Week, and in the past, we would go to the schools, mainly the smaller kids, the younger kids, kindergarten, they're about third grade,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
kind of give them the fire safety talk and all that fun stuff. But like they were saying, since COVID, that has changed a lot of things, and we
Wow.
haven't made
and
our way back.
I know they're also pounded for time for curriculum too, which seems like a lot of pressure on
Right.
our kids, especially in the third grade. Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
little kids don't see firefighters very often on TV.
yeah.
If they do, it's the scene's already over. The firefighters stand next to the truck. One of the good things about doing the public education is we take one or two members and we have them put the whole gear on.
Yeah.
And we show the kids, hey, this is what a firefighter looks like when he comes into your house. So if you're scared, you're hiding in your closet, and your house is on fire, it's not a Martian coming in.
Yeah.
This is what a firefighter looks like. This is what he's going to look like when he comes into your house.
That's right.
This is the person that you want to go to when we come
Absolutely.
in through that doorway.
Absolutely.
Because we do wear a lot of gear and we do look bigger than we normally do. And it's-
You look like a guy that's about to defuse a bomb. I mean, that's a lot of material.
Yeah.
I actually have a firefighter's glove that I got from a friend of mine because they got new gloves, and he gave me the old glove, and it was just wrinkled up and stuff like that. And he gave it to me because I was doing the barbecue grill and they get really hot when it's one of those big barrel ones
Absolutely.
on a trailer.
Yes.
And I wore that glove the rest of the day, and I saved my arm. I don't know how many scars and burns from
Right.
flipping those burgers, and I never felt a single bit of heat go through that. I would assume that over time it probably would. You can't just lay down in a fire.
Right.
But just a couple questions for me.
Yes.
From the third grade over, I don't know, 40-something years
Yeah.
ago. So stop, drop, and roll. That's still a thing.
That's still a thing.
Put if you're in your room and you can't escape the fire, fill the door first. If it's hot, don't
Yes.
open the door
Yes.
and put a blanket or block the crack of the door
Yes.
and try to seal it up
Yes.
to get to a window. That all still plays
That's
out.
all still plays in, and we now the fire service, we're pushing for people to sleep with your doors closed.
Yep.
Now, at this point, we hope you've got a smoke detector that's interconnected in each room. But if you sleep with your door closed and there is a fire, that will lots of times keep that fire from entering your room and at least give you some time to escape through a window.
That's right. And if you've never seen the movie Backdraft, you should watch it. I know it's like a back in the day, as my kids would say, but it's legit when it talks about the theory of backdraft and opening up and giving the fire fuel. You may not see fire flames, but the minute you open up that door and give it oxygen, whoosh,
Right.
and it's a real thing. Oh, actually, there's a newer movie, Backdraft, too. I forget. But anyway.
Yeah, I've not seen it.
Look it up. It's called Backdraft. It's a thing in fires and house fires. So he's right on point when he tells you about leaving the door shut. So any last comments, Charlie, for the group you want the people of Meade County to know and our surrounding communities at Fort Knox and Radcliffe?
Man, if anybody is even remotely interested on giving back to the community, helping out, there's 7 different fire departments in Meade County. All of us are need help. Like Chris said, we provide all the equipment, we'll provide all your training, and the family atmosphere comes with it. It's the best job you'll ever do, even on the volunteer side.
Well, I appreciate that. Chris, Joey, Amanda, any last comments as we close out?
No, like I said, we're always looking for people. We need all we can get. Like I said, everything is provided for you. If you're looking to get in this as a vocation, you can train for us with all your stuff and walk out and go to another fire department fully paid with a career.
Now, Charlie said 14 is when he started. What's the
It's
age?
15 now.
It's 15
Yes.
now. So, well, listen, I want to say thank you guys for coming on the show. Give a wave out to the group here. Listen, everybody, we have David Pace on tomorrow. He's going to come on the show, talk to us a little bit about what's going on with this employee occupational license. That's exactly the wording they're using. I didn't make it up. But there's a lot of confusion about it. In the former ordinance, it was called a business tax and an employee occupational tax. Hopefully we'll get to the bottom of it and what's going on. I've already posted the first reading. They're having edits go to it. It's changed up. As soon as we get that in too, we'll make sure that everybody has a copy of it for you to read. But these are all things that are impacting the community and the people who work in it. So pay attention. These people that are running our offices, they're trying to do the best they can with what they have, and sometimes they have an idea, and maybe we don't all agree with it. So tomorrow, let's hear it out and see what's going on, and go from there. But I'll leave it up to you guys to make an opinion. I'm not going to build your opinion. So tune in to us tomorrow as we bring him on the show. Guys, I just want to say thanks again for coming on.
Yes.
You guys were awesome. I appreciate this opportunity personally to get to know you guys and to educate our community. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys have a great night.